Hello, I am here to showcase SCADA's very own game made by the use of the Phillip software. Here we will see the game that 10 SCADA students took upon themselves to develop the logic team. The logic team is, I guess, how the game works and how the game itself moves. The art team. The art team helped us basically just everything else with how the game, I guess, feel and how it looks. Then we have the final team, which is the design team, which I guess you can basically put the design team into three different groups because we had four people working on it. First is the soundtrack of the game, essentially the music of the game, which was made by Azor Mendoza. Azor was basically the guy who made most of the songs in the game, developing many different tracks, many like wandering around this track itself, the boss fights, the different times that I guess people fight the different monsters. All these different things appear at different times in the game, and it makes it feel more real and more better interaction because of the music made by Azor. Then we have the in-game sounds. The in-game sounds are made by George, and George is he made a lot of improvising in terms of how to make different things, I guess, sound. And what I mean by sound is basically how things sound when they hit each other. I guess more like when someone hits something, when someone moves around, when someone basically just does any action. Basically, he developed a lot of the different sounds for the actions of the games itself, meaning whether it be the enemies, the characters, or any boss fights, or any items in general. Then we have the two game testers, which are Tim and Cody. Tim and Cody are able to basically help test the game itself. They were able to play the game throughout the different phases of the actual game development. And through this, they were able to give input to either the art team or the logic team, and help them, I guess, make the game more real or make the game more seamlessly, feel more, I guess, a whole natural process. The first thing we have to accomplish in the game here is find the fire mage who gives us the first key. And we see that as she dies, a key is collected. So then, as we move into this room, the door opens and we're able to get the second key, and the second key is what basically allows us to move into the second room, in which the second room is what helps us, is where we essentially fight the main boss. We find ourselves back up here, in which we'll be able to run into the boss here.
I'm coming.
And here we see a lot of different aspects of the game itself being implemented here, as we have the art direction made by, I guess, Madison, who developed a lot of these bosses and a lot of these enemies, and as she developed the main boss right now, which is called the Skeleton King. And we also have the logic made by Edwin, who helps us, I guess, fight the boss itself, how the boss itself follows us around, as well as the main character himself, which was made by Alex, who helps us move around and makes the skeleton actually feel like it's moving, and like, I guess, making it a still image and making it move around. As well as we also have the animation for the skeleton moving, also made by Madison. As well as, I'm not really sure if you can hear it right now, but the soundtrack, which was the music implemented into the game, was made by Azor, and Azor is what helps us, I guess, make the game feel more like an actual game, as we see a more realistic approach to how games are made, which their music helps, I guess, the player feel more, I guess, intense and feel more stressful into playing the game. We just have the request of things to be added to the game. Here we have the link to where the game can actually be played, as we can just play the game here and just go to Flow Lab where you can start playing the game. And then there's also the music placement, which it shows, I guess, different areas in the game where the music will be placed. And then here is where our ideas began for the game, as we all just added different stuff into the game, which different concepts, different ideas, all different things that we can think of that eventually will lead to the game. And here's just a list of contributions to a simplified version of the contributions that everyone made part of the game. It's not a very important thing, as everyone did a very important job that they all had to do, but obviously there's some aspects which we should show light on how different people actually help develop the game. And the checklist is just a checklist of what I keep track of how different aspects of the game were being completed, and how the different aspects of the game were essentially being put in as I was looking into it. Essentially, if a new logic or a new art or a new sound was added, then I would just use it as a way to keep track myself of what is or isn't in the game. And so that would essentially be our game here, as